Welcome to sample exams, where software testing questions get solved, step by step. Let's get started. Answer A is not correct. This acceptance criterion describes what rules or regulations the system must adhere to, in this case, the right to be forgotten. This is an example of a rule-oriented acceptance criterion. Answer B is correct. This acceptance criterion describes an example scenario that must be realizable by the system. This is an example of a scenario-oriented acceptance criterion. Answer C is not correct. This sentence looks more like a line of code that implements some business rule. Acceptance criteria should be written in collaboration with business representatives, and therefore should be written in language they understand. This sentence will most likely be unintelligible to these stakeholders. Answer D is not correct. This acceptance criterion describes what rules or regulations the system must adhere to and how compliance will be ensured. Therefore, this is an example of a rule-oriented acceptance criterion, not a scenario-based acceptance criterion. Answer A is not correct. Coverage is always defined as the percentage of the covered elements. Therefore, it cannot exceed 100%. Answer B is correct. If the statements executed by T1 and T2 were disjoint, the coverage of the test suite T1, T2 would be 105%, which is impossible. See answer A. Therefore, at least 5% of executable statements must have been executed by both T1 and T2. Answer C is not correct. Statement coverage does not tell us anything about the number of non-executable statements in the code. Answer D is not correct. Even if a test suite achieves full statement coverage, this does not imply achieving full branch coverage. Answer A is not correct. Risk impact and risk likelihood are independent. Answer B is not correct. Risk impact and risk likelihood are independent. Answer C is correct. Risk impact and risk likelihood are independent. Answer D is not correct. We need both factors to calculate risk level. Considering each of the listed test activities and their tasks, test analysis, to identify the features that require testing, the test basis is analyzed and defined as test conditions, which are then prioritized along with related risks. During this test analysis, defects in the test basis are typically uncovered, and the test object's testability may also be assessed. Task 4, Test design, involves using test conditions to create test cases and other necessary testware, such as test data requirements and test charters for exploratory testing. Task 1, Test implementation. Test procedures, such as manual and automated test scripts, are created from test cases and may be assembled into test suites. Test procedures are prioritized and arranged in a test execution schedule. Task 3, Test completion, occurs at project milestones, such as release, end of iteration, or end of test level. Testware is identified and archived or handed to the appropriate teams for reuse. The test environment is shut down, and the test activities are analyzed for lessons learned in future improvements. Task 2. Answer A is not correct. Adequate time for individuals is a success factor. Answer B is not correct. Splitting work products into small adequate parts is a success factor. Answer C is not correct. Avoiding behaviors that might indicate boredom, exasperation, etc. is a success factor. Answer D is correct. During reviews, one can find defects, not failures. Answer A is not correct. Impediments to testing can be high level and business related, so this is an important piece of information for business stakeholders. Answer B is correct. Branch testing is a technical metric used by developers and technical testers. This information is of no interest to business representatives. Answer C is not correct. Test progress is project related, so it may be useful for business representatives. Answer D is not correct. Risks impact product quality, so it may be useful for business representatives. Answer A is not correct. There are some defect types that can be found by both static testing and dynamic testing, such as a programming defect that can be observed by a reviewer in a code review and which causes an observable failure during dynamic testing. Answer B is not correct. There are some defect types that can only be detected by static testing, such as unreachable code, design patterns not implemented as desired, and defects in non-executable work products. Answer C is correct. There are some defect types that can be found by both static testing and dynamic testing, such as a programming defect that can be observed by a reviewer in a code review and which causes an observable failure during dynamic testing. There are also some defect types that can only be detected by static testing, such as unreachable code, design patterns not implemented as desired, and defects in non-executable work products. Answer D is not correct. There are some defect types that can only be detected by dynamic testing, such as performance issues or memory issues that can only be observed when executing the code or system. According to the dependencies, search tests must be executed first, then view tests, then ADD tests, and, at the end, order tests. Within each of these groups, the order is determined by the priorities of the test cases. So, TC1 must be executed first, then TC2, then TC4 followed by TC3, and then TC5 is the last one. So, the ordering is TC1, TC2, TC4, TC3, TC5. Given the following description of test analysis, to identify the features that require testing, the test basis is analyzed and defined as test conditions, which are then prioritized along with related risks. The systematic identification of test conditions as coverage items often involves using test techniques both during test analysis and as part of the test design activity. From the above description, it can be seen that test techniques are often used in the test analysis and test design activities. Boundary value analysis and equivalence partitioning are test techniques. Answer A is not correct. Test implementation is not likely to involve the use of test techniques as it is mostly concerned with assembling test cases into test procedures. While test techniques create test cases, answer B is correct. Test design is likely to involve the use of test techniques to create test cases from test conditions and coverage items. Answer C is not correct. Test execution is not likely to involve the use of test techniques as it is mostly concerned with executing test procedures, and so test cases, while test techniques create test cases. Answer D is not correct. Test monitoring is not likely to involve the use of test techniques. Test monitoring is mostly concerned with ongoing checks to ensure the plan is being followed, while test techniques create test cases. E is correct. Test analysis is likely to involve the use of test techniques to identify test conditions. In branch testing, the coverage items are branches, which are represented by the edges of a control flow graph. There are 8 edges in the control flow graph. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more testing tips and exam walkthroughs. See you in the next video.